as we jump into the Ivy League, shout out, because I coached in the Ivy League, shout out to UPenn. Whoo, they put up 59 points last week, but that's not who we're talking about, and that's not who we're recognizing, though I'm going to tell you, Harvard, out in Cambridge, Boston, you might expect them to win, and they did, 35-28 versus Cornell. But we're going to shout out the running back, Aiden Bourget. He went for 28 carries and 163 yards and 1 touchdown. Listen, I'm a defensive guy. I always check the run stat first because a lot has to happen when you go from center to quarterback to blocking to throwing to catching to not fumbling or to not getting it picked and then running to try to find a touchdown. And so, though offensive coordinators have been it is much easier to get the ball to receivers without having to go vertical today. But I recognize if you can run the ball, you can get it all. That's just bottom line. Because if you can run the ball, you're going to be able to pass the ball, and you're going to be able to pass it for big numbers, and you'll be able to be efficient. And so, shout out to Aiden Bourget. All right, so here we go. Next play, Bill and Mary. Bill and Mary. Now, this game was dope. This game is a CAA game. I think this game was at Delaware, wasn't it, Hall? No, and shout out to the CAA. I am a CAA champion. That was corny. Yeah, I thought so too, but I liked it. And if I like it, I do it. And so when it feels good, just do it. Not all the time, but on the show, I try to do what feels good. And what feels good right now is moving on. Okay, so what was we talking about? William and Mary. Bill and Mary. I know, here we go again. So we got Bill and Mary. I love Bill and Mary right now. Shout out Coach London down there. Play with his son at UMass. That's not why we highlighting him. But this game came down to the wire. They were at William and Mary, okay? And let me tell you, we're shouting out Ethan Chain right now because Ethan went 50% for field goals. He missed some close ones. He missed a 32-yarder, I think. I think he missed a 26-yarder. But no, it don't matter what you miss. It does not matter what you miss or when you miss. And when they call your name for the next time and you nail it to put your team up in the game, that's why you getting the shout out, bro. Ethan Chain nailed a 41-yard field goal to put William and Mary up. Okay, but listen, you're playing the Delaware Blue Hands, all right? They got just as many national championships as App State, Youngstown, and JMU, okay? They not weak. They're going downfield. I mean, going downfield. Hat, run. And guess what? They throw a pass, and then it's a fumble. A fumble. This is how the game ended. It didn't even go into overtime because when he threw the ball, dude catches it. And listen, the CAA, it's going to get funky at the end, baby. It's going to get funky at the end because, and shout out to my man, why am I shouting him out? Because the fumble recovery, my man Nate Lynn. Now, that's what the stat sheet says. And that game was not online. And so I'm saying Nate Lynn because Nate Lynn probably showed the most effort when that ball came out. Now, if he recovered it or not, or if he forced it or not, or if the replay was faulty or not, I can't control that. Look, the game wasn't on. I had to watch it through the box score and the stat line and the play-by-play. But it was a game that I saw, and it crossed my eyes. Hey, Bill and Mary, congratulations. Again, Ethan Chain, the made money of the game. 41-yard field goal to put him up in the effort of the game. Nate Lynn with the fumble recovery. And that's because most of them spotters in the booth are trash anyway. I hate it when they messed up my stats the next day. I know, I'm getting personal. Next game. Last game that we will talk about, and then we go push, okay? All right. Merrimack. like Merrimack. Well, this is my small ball hour. And we're going to halftime after this. And why are you talking about Merrimack? Because Merrimack iced my tail one time. Merrimack put up 45 points on me, and they were a D2 school. And that hurt. You ever been? Listen, here's what I know about most people who speak about athletics. You have never been humbled. You have never been humbled by getting 45 hung on you. You've never been humbled by getting shut out. That right there, I have you think once or twice before you have something sideways come out your mouth or you say something tongue in cheek. Okay, so I'm getting off of my horse on that. But that's why I'm talking about Merrimack, because Merrimack spanked me. And it wasn't a good spanking. And it was in a New York paper, and the New York paper was like, Wagner College gets 45 plus hung up on their top 25 defense. Not no more. It wasn't top 25 no more. Anyway, we didn't do well that year, but we did recover, and we did make it right at the end. So, okay. Anyway. You're like, well, coach, get to it. I'm going to get to it. Jesus. Jeez Louise. All right, Merrimack. That's what we're talking about. All right, why are we talking about Merrimack? Well, I just told you because they put some points on me before, and it was bad. So, Merrimack, we go shout out Victor Dawson, okay? And Tavon Edmonds Jr. Now, before I finish this shout out, all right, I'm shouting this out for a few things I want you guys to consider. When they came up into Wagner, they were a D2 school. And then when they moved into the Northeast Conference, excuse me if I said the CAA, they moved to the Northeast Conference after I was gone. They just beat Duquesne 28-21, and it was a barn burner. Barn burner. Okay, now, well, coach, why are you talking about this? Because I haven't seen this all, and all of these barn burners, I have not seen a 1-2 punch in the backfield yet. This is the first 1-2 punch I've seen in the backfield that I think is worth noting, and is deliberate. It's not like you had one guy go for you have your second back get 6 carries and he went for 70 yards. Because, I mean, that's just an explosive play. It does not. You give your back more than 10 carries, you are being intentional. Your second back, you give your back more than 10 carries, you are being intentional about having a 1-2 running back punch. And so that's why I'm bringing them up. This is the Northeast Electric. Power and Electric. Northeast Power and Electric. My man Victor Dawson, he's 6'1", 225. He a little bit bigger than that, but I respect that they cutting you on the Weight Watchers on the, whatever. Because the media matters, I get it. Okay, so Victor Dawson, 6'2", 225. He toted that thing 22 times for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's made money, bro. That's made money. You got a bag. You got a bag waiting for you next week. But here's the kicker: when you get your bag, and to all the playmakers that I may shout out, all the playmakers who won. Because look, Coach Charles I'm just trying to highlight players that normally may not get highlighted, highlight programs that no one really talks about. And look, I go through the box score and I go through the games every weekend. Every weekend, this is what I do. It's a part of what Coach does. And so, if you get shout out on my show or if you get shout out on the gram, look, you got the bag, and it's a proverbial bag, for the record. You got the proverbial, because we used to give our players Made Money Awards, Scare Money Awards, X Factor Awards. We also gave Scare Money Awards, the guy who had the play in bag but missed it. And we would highlight them and put them on the board, show them all the love in the world. Okay? And that board existed in the main lobby of the weight room where all the athletes had to walk back and forth from. And the reason from that, and this is pre-social like that. I mean, social was moving, but not like it is today. The reason we did that was because we wanted them to know we appreciated the effort that they poured out, whether it ever showed up in the stat sheet or not. And we made it an effort to think about who can we highlight that didn't show up in the stat sheet, and that was always our X Factor players. Okay, so now with that, my man Victor Dawson went for 22 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And that's why I named 2 running backs. This is the first 2 running back combo that I think that I've seen teams have deliberately played both, and it wasn't subsequently based on injury. And so my man Tavon Edmonds Jr., Tavon Edmonds Jr., okay? I don't know if he is any relation to my man Chris Edmonds because they both from the same area, but that's neither here nor there too. If he is, my man Chris Edmonds, I love you. Keep doing your thing. I see you doing your thing. And if this is any kin of yours, I expect him to keep doing his thing. But, bro, you fumbled, and they recovered it. Lucky for you and lucky for the team, they backed you and lifted you up. You owe the team a touchdown next game. But with that, he went 14 carries for 99 yards. They got a nice little power and a nice little electric thing going there. Right? A nice little combination there. I love the 2-back combination. I love the deliberate. Like they gave their running backs the ball 36 times. And they threw the ball 24 times. And so, 20 times. And the quarterback, you got work to do, but that's not what we're doing. So, shout out to Merrimack, shout out to Victor Dawson, shout out to Tavon Edmonds Jr. Hey, bro, you owe them next week from that fumble. Hey, you got some skill. You got some skill, and you the one-hitter quitter that they gonna need to keep going into the NEC and try to win the title. And Victor Dawson, keep toting that thing. Keep laying the boom. And Merrimack, I see you, man. Shout out Merrimack. They put 45 on Coach as a D2 when I was in the Division I as a Division I coordinator. I learned so much from that game. Okay, so look, man, this is Coach Malik Hall. This is halftime. I'll see you in the next half after Monday Night Football, where we'll close it out and talk college football. Close it out and talk NFL football. So again, thank you to the Mannix brothers for having me on. This is Coach Malik Hall. Catch up with Coach.